Hi everyone, we are back yet again on the Ignite Conversation, Ignite podcast. We are so happy to come to you or come to your screens once more. We are today talking about how difficult it is to love, how one can love the person, or how one can communicate their love for their partners. I'm joined with my two friends as always. This is Sinead and Daniel Rasmussen. Yeah, so welcome once more
Thank you.
to the
Thank you
Ignite
so
Conversation.
much.
How's been your weekend, your week? How was
It's been very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had. I think it's almost been a whole follow along, like almost a follow up of the previous episode, episode
Yes.
2.
Yeah.
We've been talking about all the things we've been talking about in that one, and we've been adding on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're gonna have so many things today that we're gonna talk about that we found
Yeah.
out through the week, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. For
Yeah.
example, the 5 love languages. How to feel love.
Yeah. We were even asked about that in the dining area where we are at the Bible school, and that was so interesting and actually really ignite
Yes.
this topic. And we said okay, we should have another relationship part 3 that has maybe this as its topic, which we thought could be a really interesting thing.
And I think we can never exhaust the topic of love and
No.
relationships because it's so wide.
Yeah.
It is so vast in,
Yeah. Yeah.
and we are just sharing what we know,
Yeah.
the knowledge we have about love.
Yeah.
So if there's anything that you think you'd teach us or that you know we are missing in here in this podcast, you are allowed to just comment and also tell us what you think about love so that we learn from you as we are also learning from each other here.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Yes.
Yeah, we actually did a 5 love language test on a guy over at the dining area.
Yeah.
Took about 5-10 minutes. Well, he was asked a lot of questions by an app,
Yeah.
and then he found out that he loved.
33% he wanted personal time with him. So
Let's,
should we break it down what 5 love languages
maybe
is?
we should explain what the
Yes.
love was.
So
Because we can be talking about the 5 languages.
yes,
What are they talking about? 5 languages of love?
so what it is basically comes down to is that they have found out that people have 5 love languages, and that means it is love languages that you as a person give to your partner and you love to receive as a partner. And the first one is gift giving, the second one is physical touch, the third one is words of affirmation, the fourth one is acts of service, and the fifth one is alone time, spending time with your partner, just uninterrupted time. And they have found out that these are the classical, maybe there are more, maybe they've done more research, but are the classical love languages. And it's not that as a man, a stereotypical man, you have these type and you cannot waver from any of these. And it's not the same for women, with the stereotypical understanding that women have to be decorated, women are materialistic. That's not necessarily the thing. Actually, you are wired differently. And they can change from season to season, or in whatever thing they can also change.
Yeah.
But if we look at women right now, a lot of people say, just from using the word, they say women love to be decorated.
Yeah.
And then there's also this saying that people say women are expensive.
Yeah.
The women are expensive.
Yeah.
Should we look at it as a doctrine, or should we look at it as women are more inclined to the to the first love language that you mentioned of gift giving?
Yeah.
Do you think that's what?
I think just real quick, just explaining doctrine. Doctrine is a set of teachings, right?
Yes.
Just for the people not knowing the.
Yeah. I had a hard time understanding that. But yeah. I think you actually, can you remember in the dining, you said something really, I can't remember, but you said something really clever, saying that sometimes you apply this doctrine because of culture,
Yes.
because of traditions, because of an understanding that women maybe are inclined to not working. It was a lot about that.
Yes.
I don't know if you want to elaborate on that.
It's about the African culture.
Yeah.
So it's now that we are saying that women are able to go to school,
Yeah.
have a career, have a good job,
Yeah.
or start a business, and they are providing for themselves. That was not the case in the old times.
Yeah.
So in the old times, women were taught how to cook and prepared for marriage, while men were taught to do it. This is the Zambian culture that I'm talking about. So men were taught to go and hunt, look for food. So men, the only thing that were required to do is to provide for what? Provide for the women or provide for their wives. So that that's what I think to say that has affected us as it has affected relationships, it has affected the female and the male, because women now always want to receive, because that's what people even quote the Bible saying a man should provide and a woman should submit. So now the thing here is about, do we continue with the culture, or has the culture distorted love? So it's really confusing, but when you look at it, women now want to receive things from men and they don't want to do the same. And the world is teaching that as well. If we look at movies are showing us that a man is supposed to do ABCD. A man is supposed to provide, and a woman is not supposed to help out to help out the man. So when we look at it, do you think it is right for men to always buy gifts and women just receiving? Is it that women are more women have the advantage or get the benefits of the 5 languages more than men?
That was a good question. That's a good question.
Like, if we stay within the 5 love languages, that is a very hard question.
I think sometimes that women are portrayed as jewels, even and also maybe in the sense of now feministic wave and stuff like that, actually of higher value. And I don't, in the kingdom culture, that's not how it is. And I think we are undermining the male and masculine aspect.
So when you mention kingdom culture, you mean the gospel, the Christian culture?
Yes. And I would say that I think men have the misunderstanding and bringing their culture of understanding that we even had a hard time understanding that Daniel also has some love languages he would like me to express to him, rather than it's always him expressing them to me.
Yeah, we're in a culture right now, right, where it's almost, we're having the break of where men are finding out that they can actually say they want to be loved as well, and that they don't want to always serve, because usually it's about men having to earn the respect of a woman, right? But now it's almost like we can say, well, I don't feel loved, so you have to earn something as well. And me and Sinead, we found out very early that that worked out really well for us, because she started as one of the first things that she wanted to pay for me. And that made me fall in love with Sinead, because that turned my whole worldview around, and it actually made me feel love, because that was actually one of my love languages. Like that she actually gave something to me.
So, but also the fact I would not recommend for all the men watching that if they're doing acts of love and the 5 languages, don't minimize that just to go down on the woman's level. If you understand, keep that up. And if it's a wife or if it's a woman keeping the 5 languages, keep it up. But communicate the barrier or the gap between uncommunicated love with your partner, and then keep it up. Keep it up. Because if you can be able to communicate that, and first and foremost also understand yourself, even take the test, find out, okay, right now I really am in need of my first love language, which is words of affirmation.
Well, it's easy for women to actually communicate and say, I want to be loved, I don't feel loved.
Yeah.
And when a man expresses or says it to a woman, they say, I feel I'm not loved, or I want you to do this. It seems like the man is weak, and the man is not, the man is just maybe trying to be dramatic or something. Do you think it is right for men to communicate their love languages to their partner?
I think if you don't, your relationship is gonna suffer.
And
definitely gonna suffer, yeah.
If you don't want to look like God. I think God expresses his love language. God is someone who did that. And Jesus on the earth walking did that.
Is it my responsibility for me to begin to tell my partner that this is what I want? Can't she find out on her own, or can she study me?
No, you should definitely tell her.
Yeah.
Because something we talked about this week, an example of exactly that question is, there was a book we're reading, a Danish book about marriage, where the woman kept saying, "Oh, my man is doing nothing. He's doing nothing, and he's not letting me agree. Like, he's not wanting to do anything that I want." And then she started studying it. And at first it looked like it was not a good relationship. It looked like him controlling, right?
Yes.
But she turned the table on this couple and started asking them questions, and found out that she had never communicated anything that she wanted. So she was letting him like almost abuse her.
Yeah.
And he was not he didn't know anything he was doing, right? So it was actually her fault that he was behaving bad. And the exact same thing, if a man actually wants a healthy relationship, he should communicate to his wife or his girlfriend that he wants to be treated differently. And if she doesn't want to go on that, she doesn't want to go and say, okay, I love you, so I'm going to treat you differently so you feel loved, that relationship is not good.
If I like to receive gifts, do I tell my girlfriend that I need her to buy gifts for me?
Actually, it doesn't have to be gifts. The love language of gift giving also falls under her doing just anything. Like it could also be that she wants to cook you dinner as a gift. She wants to give you a massage or do something.
I love food, but
Yeah.
Or I bought you some Lion King chicken on the way home, just as a little gift.
Even Sinead, because I had a period where I really liked receiving gifts, but I didn't like her spending money on it. So she was writing letters. She was giving me a love letter. That was a gift, right? She was cutting out some different things, putting together a picture, and then she was writing a poem. And that was a gift, right? And I knew that she had spent time on it, so it was the time that was a gift. So you can actually say, I want gifts because it's my love language. So it's not even like you don't have to spend money.
But then again, I would ask you guys.
Yes.
Now it's almost like, and for some men, this is an unbridged, like they have never been in this area of maybe communicating love. How would you advise communication to men in this area? Like, how would you say, this is almost like a testing of your love. I mean, it's almost like saying, how big is your love? Can you take that I set up boundaries? Can you take that I communicate that I need this as a human being?
But also, if she thinks that you're a weak man for wanting these things, and she's going to leave you for that relationship was not worth anything anyway, right? So it's like, do this to strengthen the relationship, and no matter what happens, if that relationship goes into oblivion, then that was probably the best for you.
Well, it's really tense in here.
Yes, it is.
It's really tense because this is very real, and it's happening in relationships.
Hard issue.
It's very and there are situations where a man loves attention.
Yeah.
But when he tells his girlfriend to say, I want this, and the girl seems like he's too petty. He's always complaining about things. Say, you're not giving me time, you're not what. But he's a man. And there are some people that actually say, if you're always talking to your man, when is he going to make money? When is he going to make a living?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think what we did is that we now, I know we've talked about, but we made dates just for specific purposes. So when we were dating, we made dates for talking about wedding. When we were engaged, we made a date called prayer. We made a date called talking about the past. Like, we made dates for specific things because you felt, and it was more to me because I talk most in our relationship. He felt that his boundaries were being overstepped, and he was not in the emotional state at that time to talk about marriage. Like, if, for example, if we were working in the garden,
Yes.
and I start talking about marriage and all the things that has to be done, he's like, I'm not in an emotional state now to talk about it. You need me to be in a place where I'm emotionally, physically, and mentally ready to talk about what you want me, so you have the full attention. Make dates with your partner, your spouse. Say, can we maybe schedule this Saturday to talk about our love languages? Maybe take the test. Maybe go for a walk. Talk about it. Communicate. And then make sure not to be disappointed. Make sure not to be angered and bitter about some stuff.
But I think women are get more angry with.
Yeah. But that's the only thing I want to say. Control yourself. That's the only thing I want to say to my fellow women. Control yourself.
So, is it okay to advocate for men to begin to speak out in their relationships? Because I feel a lot of men fail to actually express themselves in the sense of they are a man. A man has to be strong. A man doesn't need to worry about if the woman is giving him attention or what, so long as he is doing everything and the woman is with him, then that is okay. And I feel it is, for me, I don't feel that is right.
No.
I think every relationship should have a balance, should strike a balance where the woman understands the man and the man also understands the woman. That's when, because we are talking about forever is a long time here. We're talking about two people that are going to stay together. Meaning there should be a balance, or a couple should create where they are supposed to meet. Not always a man sacrificing. Say, because you cannot live your whole life just sacrificing on your own. I feel both should begin to sacrifice, and these are things that we should know as youths, as young people, as people who are just going into relationships. We should go in relationships with an open mind to say, this is not just about me. It's about us. When we create that thing of it's about us, there's going to be that communication. So from now onward, if you are in a relationship and your man begins to say certain things, to say, I want this, I think you should consider it. Not I think, you must consider it, because men are human. Me and Daniel were just talking the other day to say, the world doesn't want men who are open, men who talk about their feelings. But we are forgetting that men are also, you are human, and they're in that relationship with you. You are not alone in that relationship. So that's one of my cry, I think. That
I think taking it from a biblical viewpoint, right? Because it's not talked about much, this topic, especially in the presence of a woman, because they feel like they're going to be scorned, right? I think every couple needs to take it their own direction. In specifically me and Sinead's it might sound to people that me and Sinead are having a very woke relationship where we are totally equal, but it's really not like that. It's just that I'm expressing how I want to be loved and how I feel like I'm worth something.
Yes.
And the exact same for her. But we're still keeping the roles that we need, that we know that we're born with.
Yeah.
I'm stronger. I can take more of a beating, right? I can go work all night and provide for the family because my brain is wired that way, that I feel worth in my life by providing. While Sinead is gonna feel worth like caring for a child. She's gonna feel worth. Maybe Sinead wants a job. She wants us to work, both of us, but she's gonna feel more of a worth caring in our life. So that means I'm gonna work on the house. I'm gonna work on the car. I'm gonna be out late and be muddy and work on all the things around the house that I wouldn't let her do. And I'm gonna maybe break something. I'm gonna get wounds, but that's gonna make me feel alive and feel like I'm a man. But still, when I come inside, I don't want to be mistreated. I want her to respect me. And just because I'm a man doesn't mean that I cannot cry. Before I met Sinead, I never cried. But when I met Sinead, I cried a lot. And it made me so strong. And even though I still go out and I work till my hands bleed, I still go in and I get that love and I get that tenderness that a man actually needs in this world. But we've all been programmed almost till that a man is weak if he even goes towards that question, right? About, can I feel like I want more love?
Yeah.
So are we saying when we are in a relationship, nobody should define how your relationship should be?
No, not even us. Like, we're giving pointers that is psychologically proven about the 5 love languages, right? And that can really help your relationship. In our church even, because me and Sinead have been so upfront and so progressive in using these things. People, even the pastor, pastor couple, and several couples that have been married for 10, 15, 20 years in the church say that we have actually in many areas went before them already.
Yeah.
And
that we at one point in our 20s will start encouraging and counseling people in relationships.
Yeah, that are beyond us.
Yeah.
And that is just because we realized that that I'm not scared to say what I feel anymore. I think we have a lot of examples of that. I think, what is the latest example of for example, I think we've had a lot of examples of me that took Sinead on maybe 10 dates. And then I was like, why is she never taking me on dates? Right?
Exactly.
Because I was putting so much effort into it. And I was just thinking, okay, I'm a man, right? I take her on dates, but suddenly I felt so inadequate in our relationship, and I just felt like it was never giving me anything. So I was almost falling out of love because it was like, I don't get anything and I don't feel like I'm worth anything. So I was like, Sinead, we just sat down. I was like, Sinead, why are you never inviting me on dates? Do you not love me? And she was like, I do love you. And I was like, the natural response of you loving me would be you taking me on dates because you love me. She was like, I've never thought of that.
No. Yeah.
And then we took it from there, and she started inviting me on dates, and I started feeling loved, right? And that is a taboo in a lot of places, that a man wants to be taken on a date.
I think one thing, or two things actually, that I think is very, very important is that see each other as Christ is the third party of our marriage. And it should be that I look at him through Christ-like eyes, and he should look at me. We are gifts to each other. We are blessings to each other. But at the same time, I also think that people should not, the whole thing of thinking that relationships, putting on words as everlasting, never changing love, always there for me, like very static words, even though not acknowledging that love changes. Love changes. And it should be that you can think critically about your relationship. You should be able to question your relationship with your partner. And then also be able to say, okay, I love out of choice. I love out of choice. I choose to go out and make eggs and whatever for breakfast for my husband. or for not your spouse, or not your girlfriend, because maybe you shouldn't be living together, but for your spouse, because you choose to, not because you're infatuated, not because you are totally in love, because that psychologically is proven to disappear, or not disappear, but the chemicals that are released into your brain after the first 12 months diminish, becomes less. So you will not feel that in love, but you can spike it with something, with choices of love.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how did you receive the news, or how did you take it when he came to you to say, I feel you don't love me because you don't take me out on a date? What was your response, or how did you feel about him saying that?
Yeah. I think I remembered being hurt, my pride being hurt maybe, and maybe also like, I think I remember being a bit like, oh, who are you to say that to me?
Exactly.
Like that sort.
Yes.
And then I had to bring it to God, and I also had to actually look at him with different eyes.
Wow.
I had to look at him with different eyes, because all of a sudden this man, if he continues to feel unloved, he will not choose me as his wife.
So it had to take God.
I did, because it's all of a
So
sudden.
what if we're talking about somebody who doesn't have a relationship with God, and they want to, or somebody tells them that,
I mean,
with the ego
yeah,
that people have nowadays?
it can be possible. It can be possible to think,
I gave you a
would
dilemma.
change.
I really gave you a dilemma.
You did?
Because you did, when you came with that attitude, I knew exactly what I had in mind. I was like, if she does not make me feel loved, right? I knew my worth. I knew I was worth something, and I knew I wouldn't go into marriage with a person that wouldn't change for me as well, because I've changed so much for her. So I was like, I've done so much for you.
Yeah.
If you don't do this, if you can't change for me, then we cannot be in a relationship. And unfortunately, it's actually a very simple answer for people that are non-Christian. If you cannot go to God for answers, if your partner won't change, of course you're gonna have to give them some time, maybe some months even. If they won't change for you, and you keep feeling like you're not loved, it's not a relationship that's gonna build you up, and it's not gonna hold for the rest of your life.
But that's often a difference between Christian, hopefully, and non-Christian relationships, is that the one is for yourself and the other is for the other person. You are in that relationship because you get something.
Yeah.
It's often that you get something.
It's ego.
Egocentric.
Egocentric.
And then for hopefully Christian mindset and kingdom culture, hopefully you should go into marriage or into relationships for the purpose and understanding of saying, okay, I'm here to distinguish whether or not this person is for me for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
What if you are confident she's the one? And so while we are moving in our relationship, and then you feel she's the one, but she's not changing.
But what's the grace period of change? The grace period.
But she's not changing. Does that?
Because I had a scenario of a certain man, a certain friend. I think we were together one day.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
Yes, of one who, a friend. So he finds the girlfriend job, and she starts to work. Then as she's working, she is telling the boyfriend to say, "You need to put me on a salary."
Oh yeah, no, you have to. Yeah, you have to pay for my hair. You have to pay for my nails. You have to pay for all these things.
She's got her salary, but she still wants to have, to have another salary from the man, and then also her hair being done, other things also being
clothing. And she didn't want to spend her own money. She wanted to spend his money.
Yeah.
Even though she had
is that love?
That's not love. No, definitely not. But that's also where we said, I think we can connect it to your question, where if someone keeps not changing, does that mean you have told them? Have you told them how you want to be loved? And have you actually given them something that they can maybe,
A tool.
like a tool or something they can chew on and think, is this right? They might be saying, oh, you're not a man and stuff in the first place.
Exactly.
And you're just gonna have to go through that. And see if she will change or he will change. If the person does not change, you should break up.
But I would also say it even describes scenarios. Like describe scenarios that you have fantasized about. I mean, it could sound as if it was within sex. It can even be within sex when you're spouses. But even describe, I have dreamt of being taken on a date, this in this place. I've dreamt of you cooking food, blah, blah, blah. Like explaining particularly, and then let it go. Then do like this and say, if she does something that is even a small gesture of love, don't say, oh, that was not good enough. Like taking your expectations too far. Just saying, wow, I see that you are making an effort.
If you were given a chance to define or to give advice to a couple, what advice would you give them when they are getting into a relationship? Can you give them a curriculum of this is how love is? Or
I think we really got, and something that we brought into every decision was meeting in the middle. I think we spoke about that as well. Meeting in the middle. So if Sinead wants, let's just take something wild like a wedding. If she wants a completely white wedding, and I want a completely black wedding, we should meet in the middle and get a completely gray wedding.
Or have the one room white and the other room black. If you have two rooms.
Or have both
The
colors,
certainly
right?
white, yeah.
So it's just meeting in the middle of every decision.
Yeah.
Unless it's something that Sinead, for example, says, I have always wanted to go to the USA, right? And I have a little dream of like, I just want to go to Norway.
Yeah.
And
so what if you are not capable of, or you're not able to afford the trip, or to afford she wants to go for a honeymoon, or she's always had this fantasy of, I want to see myself in Norway, or see myself in whichever country that person was, that you cannot afford to do that. What happens?
Are you talking to him personally that he cannot? Because it should, for us, we have decided to have a combined economy. We don't even say, this is my part, this is your part. No, we just smack it together. We say, we pay the bills. And then when we are out.
I'm going to cut you short, because you are married.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the times that when you were dating. Did you ever share responsibilities together?
We did. Like for the food? Can you remember?
Yeah, for the food, yeah. But
were you ever open that I've gotten paid?
Say again?
Were you ever open to her that I have my salary is in?
Oh, yeah.
You do that?
Yeah.
And you make budgets together?
Yes.
Yeah, sometimes. Not completely open.
No.
Not completely open. No. But
what was causing you not to be?
Because I didn't know if she was going to be my wife yet.
Yeah.
Not completely.
And his was not mine and mine was not his yet. So I was not completely open either about my economy.
So when that was before you started dating, or?
No, while we were dating.
While you were dating.
But I think the 2 last months before we got married, our economy.
I even gave all my money to you.
Yeah, and I started paying for all the marriage things. I started to, we calculated, okay, if we pay
that was in the marriage, like.
Yeah.
This is my philosophy. In every relationship that I get in, or in my relationship, what I do is, whether I'm not sure that I'm getting married to this person, the fact that we are together, I begin from there to begin to share every little thing that I have. Because for me, I'm starting that relationship. And as we're starting that relationship, my goal is to marry that person. So,
is that when you're sure you're gonna marry that person? When do you start sharing everything? Because you cannot share everything when you don't know you're gonna marry this person.
You don't know you're gonna. Why get in a relationship with somebody if you are not sure that you are going to marry?
I think
you should always go in a relationship knowing I'm not going to marry this person. You should go into a relationship saying I'm not going to marry this. You should definitely, because it's a very serious thing.
You said,
I don't know
if I've got you right. You said you should go in a relationship saying I'm not going to marry it.
Yeah.
Why
I
is it?
don't think so.
I think you should go into a relationship saying I'm going to figure out if I want to marry this person. Because you're going to know, is she the right person that I'm going to marry?
But then how many people are you going to figure out?
I mean, that's the thing.
We are speaking of Christian dating. Right?
Yes.
Didn't we talk about some of this in another podcast? Like one of the other episodes,
dating
where we said you should go into a relationship not giving her your soul or making bonds. You should not make soul ties.
Yeah.
You should go into a relationship and use all the first dates. Might be half a year before you become a couple or girlfriend boyfriend. Before that, you should just figure out if this person is the right one for you. You should figure out how many kids do they want, how do they want to raise your kids, all these things. And if you find out if this person is a toxic person, and if they're going to mistreat you.
But that's not a relationship. I think that's just called dating.
Dating, yes. But that's what we established at first. We said dating is, I'm just getting to figure out who this person is. But we're saying now you are girlfriend and boyfriend. Don't you need to begin to share things together?
I think you should watch out. Because even there, you're not going to figure out who this person is by dating.
No, that's true.
It's gonna take a long time.
Yeah.
I was ready to go away from our relationship, me and Sinead, after a year after we became a boyfriend and girlfriend.
What is the reason for dating? Why do we date?
To get to know.
To get to know each other, but you cannot get to know each other.
What is the purpose? What is the purpose of dating?
To figure out if you like this person externally. If you're interested enough to get to know this person further.
Yeah, I think so.
So you want to know them further.
Yeah.
And you stated or declared that you are boyfriend and girlfriend.
That's when if you decide, I want to know this person further, you become boyfriend and girlfriend. That means you open up to each other. But that's a whole different thing than being engaged and being married. Engaged is the point where you know exactly that I'm going to marry this person. What other reason would you have engagement for? It's saying, I know I'm going to marry this person. I'm going to put a ring on it. And now is the time that I've found out everything I want to know about this person. I know that my life can go for a whole lifetime with this person. Because what is best? Dropping 3 girls, of course not bonding so much that you're going to break their hearts completely. You should be real. You should say, I want to get to know you. The problem is all of us, we go into relationships thinking, I have to give my all. And then you break up and then people are heartbroken and it creates something that it never had to be.
So if I'm not sure that I'm going to marry somebody, why should I begin to know about the love languages?
I think you should do it because you need to know if this person can make you feel loved. And the same for her as well.
Yeah. But I think there are some criteria that make you. What I heard is that if you meet 200 different women a year, then you have 200 different women to choose from. Then you sort those from that are Christian or non-Christian. You do like tuk. Then there may be 180 women you can date. Then maybe of those you think 80 of them are attractive. You start dating 50 of them. Let's say 50 in different months. That's a lot of women. We're just for the exaggeration part. Dating is not commitment. Dating is not commitment, and Christians overemphasize dating.
How long should you date?
That's the thing, because I think there's some crucial answers you need answered. If you are a Christian and you know there's a calling upon your life, you should ask about their calling. You should ask about their dreams. You should ask about their visions, and maybe some crucial things like if you know that 50% or whatever, I can remember correctly, that end up in divorce is because of discussion of economy. You should ask about economy. What are your relationships to economy? Should I pay now? Should you pay now? That's a very surface level discussion. When you figure those things out, or maybe one more you add to the list that you think are important, you start sorting out and saying, okay, down of those 40 ladies that I've dated, I really enjoyed well. Then of those you say, okay, Lord, of course, if you it's a Christian, ask God, is there any of these you have in your heart for me?
Wow. So yes, are you saying we can date as many as we want?
No, you can date as many, but you cannot be in a relationship with as many as you want. I think
so. I can date 5 girls at the same time.
No, not at the same time.
No.
That's a different thing.
That's a different thing.
Because I just think the thing about becoming a couple, boyfriend and girlfriend, there's different things that you can talk about. You can start talking about how many kids do you want, and how do you want to raise our kids. You can say our. When you're dating, you cannot say these things. And there are, I think there's a multitude of exactly like questions like this that you need answered for you to go further.
Yes. Yeah. I'll take you back. At what time did you approach her and say, I feel like you don't love me?
Oh, that was far into
point.
It was far into our relationship. It was when we came to 9 months, I think.
Into our relationship.
It was when we came to that point where it was.
You were not engaged by then.
No. It was when we weren't. What do you call that? It was when the love wasn't really new anymore. Yeah. We weren't like blinded by each other anymore. We could ask real questions, and usually you can do whatever you want when you're dating and in your new relationship. Yeah. She can treat you as bad as you want, or he can treat you as bad as he wants, and you're not gonna notice. But there's some point where you're gonna notice, and that was for me about 9 months.
But do you then would you advise people to say, for every woman or man you date, be together with them for 9 months to test them out or to see when the realness comes?
Oh, I think that's very dangerous. I think it's different for everyone. Very different for everyone. And
maybe 12 months?
No.
How long would you commit your time to one person?
No.
Or if it's dating or being
that could be years. Because in our marriage, there was things.
You're talking about years. You've been with her for over years.
3
years. That's your dating in there. That's
engagement.
That's your girlfriend and boyfriend in there.
Yeah.
Engagement. That's 3 good years.
Yeah.
But we've talked with a lot of people that has been married, and a lot of relationships. But I think if we should cut it down to the things you should do, you should date to figure out if this person is interesting enough for you to keep going, and that is just one date. You can date a lot of people. It's just like friendship. You can be friends with a lot of people. You can speed date, and there's nothing wrong with that. And when you found a person that you think is interesting, you go on several dates.
We went on 5, I think, before we got.
We went on 5 real dates. We saw each other in between, in church and stuff. Yeah. 5 real dates, getting to know each other really, really.
We even had a question date where we had to write 75 questions down for the other person.
Yeah.
Like real dates where you actually, it's not about physical attraction. I became physically attracted to him after I think our 4th or 5th date.
Yeah.
Because all the other things had gone before. We were talking so much, and we actually came really deep.
For him, he liked you the best.
Yeah, he did that.
Yeah, no, almost.
No, yeah.
But that's also because I did all the work, right?
Yeah.
If I didn't love her, I wouldn't have done all the things.
No.
She did nothing. I did the work.
Oh yeah,
that's another typical thing. The man does the work.
Yeah. Well.
No, did you actually get your question answered?
I think I also need to. I think I have a question, or I think I need to explain.
Yeah. Should you share? What was the question? Should you share everything when your boyfriend and girlfriend? If you're unsure of your partner, what do you think?
For me, I still stand with what I know or how I really want to grow my relationship. I think from the time I'm dating this person, just getting to know the person, I want to know them. I also want them to know me. So now, when we go to boyfriend and girlfriend, I begin to share everything. I begin to share my resources, and they begin to share their resources because I want transparency in my relationship or in our relationship. Most of the couples or most of married people are facing the challenge. The biggest challenge they're facing is finances. And if you can manage to handle finances before you even get into a relationship, believe you me, before you even get into marriage, believe you me, your marriage is going to be successful. So for me, I even begin to do small businesses with this type with my partner. Why? I am a business-minded person. I'm first of all, I'm a leader. I'm called by God, and I love business. So I want that person to begin to understand these three things that I'm called into. Okay?
But if your relationship and your marriage is pretty much the same, why are you training in the relationship if it's not for training to see if things are good?
I'm training for my marriage.
But that sounds like commitment rather than training. If she gets
we are training it. It's not just me sharing this. She's also sharing, what are you called?
Okay.
What is your purpose? So I'm getting to know her purpose. I'm not also getting to know my purpose.
Yeah.
Because imagine I get into marriage and she doesn't understand my purpose and I don't understand her purpose. That is tragedy. That's a tragedy on its own. So I begin just to right there to understand her purpose. Am I able to support her purpose? Is she able to support my purpose?
Yeah.
Because before we get into a relationship and we don't understand, we don't establish these two teachings, believe you me, we are not going anywhere.
No.
We're just going to look, and I got this from a rapper. It's going to be weird for me to mention this rapper, but I got this from Chance the Rapper. Chance the Rapper said, I don't want people to come for my wedding who are not going to be there for my marriage. So now I twisted that and I said, I don't want to get ready for a wedding or to prepare for a wedding. I want to prepare for my marriage.
But can I ask you something?
Yes, sir.
What happens when you're training, let's say preparing for the marriage?
We are prepared.
Preparing for the marriage.
Yes.
Let's say she completely fails in economy. You find out that she's failing at economy. She doesn't want to work with you. She's not going to make you feel loved. And she cannot do business. And she's not going to share the calling.
Okay. She's not able to do that.
And it's not going to change ever.
It's not ever. Okay. Is she able, now we meet on the meet, is she able to support me while I'm working alone? I think that's the most important thing. If she's not into business, she's a career person, is she able to support me? And is she going to allow me to take the route of business? If she's able to support me from afar to say, I'm clapping for you even while you are there on the stage, while you are doing whatever, I'm here in the background clapping for you, I'm going to be there. That is fine. The thing that I look forward for is for her to understand my calling. Not basically her working with me, no. But if she's just able to support me from afar and I'm able to support her from afar, it is fine.
But what if she doesn't?
If she doesn't,
if she's not going to support your calling,
if she's not going to support my calling, well, my calling matters more than anything.
But isn't then a relationship still something that can dissolve based on this person? You getting to know this person so deeply that you know they're not going to support you in your calling. If you find out about this a year and a half into the relationship, something so crucial as that means relationship is still a training ground. And it should be able to be dissolved.
I mean, there's no boyfriend and girlfriend in the Bible. There's no boyfriend. They went directly from the one to the other. So I think...
So it's very true what you're saying.
Yeah.
About you having to maybe actually share your things. I would personally wait till I know this person has potential. But share all these things, get to know this person so deeply. Using relationship as a training ground. And then get married if everything checks out.
But even what I've heard my dad say is that he was still questioning my mom and being like, okay, is she still around? Till the day before they got married. That even the engagement.
I even did that with you.
Yeah, I even did that with you. I have not told you.
The thing is, we are human and we're always going to die.
Yeah.
We will die. But there's one thing that I know. If you choose one person, be committed to that person.
Yes.
Work with them.
Yes.
Work with them until such a time where you feel like, okay, we're not going to do this. So in most of, even when you're leaving the relationship, make sure you live in good terms, not where you just blacklist the other person and they're wondering, am I too good? Was I not too good for him? No, establish a good a good boundary on how you're going to end the things. But what really matters is how you end the relationship and how you grow together. It's all about growing together. It's all about you becoming productive together. And that's the most important thing.
And it takes two to become one.
Exactly.
But also watch out for making soul ties and things that are knitted together when you're only in a relationship. Make sure to keep it still like this, but not like this is what happens when you're in a marriage. Everything becomes one. But in a relationship, you're not committed. You are not committed. It's a training ground, as you said. You train.
Training ground.
Yeah.
We could go on and on.
Yes, we could.
Talking about this. But we have to stop because of time. Because of time, but of course we have to. You said we don't have to be like this.
In a relationship.
We have to be like this.
Not like that.
Like
this.
No, like this.
Like
this.
Just training.
Yeah, but it's been a productive session.
Yeah, it really has. Yeah,
it's always productive and it's always good talking to you.
Yeah, you too.
And having this, and it's always good having you, the viewers, listening and watching this podcast. And thank you very much for being lovely viewers. And we've received your messages, those that are uploading us and also that are asking questions. We really appreciate and value you. Thank you very much for joining us today. See you next time on the Ignite Conversation. Have a lovely day. And remember, you are good people. God has got something great for you. Till next time, it's blessings and peace.